everyone, welcome back. Let me ask you something right away. What if I told you the IRS might not even start accepting tax returns until mid-February next year? That's later than usual, and it could mean delays for millions of refunds. For people who rely on those refunds to pay bills or catch up on expenses, even a couple of weeks can feel like a lifetime. So the question a lot of folks are asking right now is, will the 2026 tax season be late? And if it is, how should you prepare? Stick around, because understanding what's going on behind the scenes could save you a lot of stress and possibly money. Before we get into it, let me ask you, do you usually file your taxes right away, or do you wait until closer to the deadline? Drop your answer in the comments, because I'd love to hear how different people approach this. And while you're here, if you find these kinds of updates helpful, consider subscribing so you don't miss out. Now, here's where the story begins. The speculation about delays started when IRS Commissioner Billy Long mentioned that the agency might not be ready to accept returns until around President's Day, which falls on February 16, 2026. Normally, tax season starts in late January, so that's a noticeable shift. It's not confirmed, but the fact that it came straight from the commissioner got everyone's attention. The IRS tried to calm things down a few days later, saying they're planning for a successful season as usual, but they didn't really deny the possibility of a later start. That kind of vague language makes people uneasy, and understandably so. Because here's the thing, the IRS is under a lot of strain right now. Since early 2025, they've lost about a quarter of their workforce. Thousands of staff are gone due to restructuring efforts under President Trump's administration, aimed at cutting costs and streamlining. That sounds efficient on paper, but in practice it means fewer people to handle tax returns, customer service, and the technical side of reprogramming systems. And that reprogramming matters because of the new tax laws passed under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Signed on July 4th, this law brought in several changes. Deductions for overtime, deductions for tips, special exemptions on Social Security benefits for some seniors, charitable giving deductions, and even a new deduction of up to $6,000 for taxpayers age 65 and older. These are all big changes, and while they may benefit people, they also require the IRS to adjust its systems. And as you can imagine, reprogramming millions of lines of code while being short-staffed is no small task. So what does this mean for you? Well, if the IRS needs extra time to get everything ready, a delay in accepting returns is very possible. And if that happens, refunds could also be delayed, especially for those who file early. Now, let's pause here for a second. Some people might think, well, I don't file until March or April anyway, so what does it matter? And you're right, if you're a later filer, you might not even notice. But for millions of Americans, especially families who depend on that refund to cover essentials like rent, utilities, or debt payments, those few weeks can make a huge difference. And there's another angle too. Refunds aren't just extra cash lying around. For many households, it's the single largest lump sum payment they see all year. Delays without clear communication could really erode trust in the system. That's why so many people are anxious about this. So then, how can you prepare? First, don't wait for the IRS to tell you everything's ready. You can get yourself ready now. That means organizing your documents, keeping track of your income, your deductions, and any changes in your financial life this year. Did you switch jobs? Buy a house? Have a baby? Those things all affect your taxes. Second, check your withholdings. A lot of folks are surprised at the end of the year. Some get a huge refund, others owe more than they expected. If you had an outcome last year that you didn't like, now is the time to adjust. Remember, a giant refund isn't necessarily a win. It just means you overpaid and gave the government an interest-free loan. On the flip side, underwithholding can lead to penalties. So, finding that balance matters. Another step worth considering is looking at your investments. If you've had gains this year, think about whether tax loss harvesting makes sense, selling some underperforming assets to offset the gains. It's something tax professionals often recommend, and it can help you reduce what you owe. And speaking of professionals, reaching out early can really pay off. Tax rules have shifted a lot with this new law, and your personal situation might look different this year compared to last. A CPA or tax preparer can help you navigate the changes. And by talking with them now, you avoid that last-minute scramble when the season officially opens. You see, the bigger picture here is not just about a possible delay. It's about trust in the IRS and how the system is adapting or struggling to meet the needs of taxpayers. We've seen different approaches from administrations. Under Biden, there was funding to modernize systems. Under Trump, the focus has been cutting staff and reducing costs. Now, the agency is trying to balance those two directions, and the result is a lot of uncertainty for ordinary people who just want to get their taxes filed and their refunds on time. What's more, history shows us that when Congress passes big tax laws late in the year, delays aren't unusual. In 2013, people couldn't even file until the very end of January, and some groups had to wait until March. So this isn't unprecedented. It's happened before, and it could happen again. But here's a thought. While you can't control when the IRS opens, you can control how ready you are. Think of it like traveling. If you pack early, you're prepared for delays, cancellations, whatever comes your way. If you pack last minute, you're stressed and scrambling. Taxes work the same way. Now, I want to circle back to you for a moment. How would a delay affect you personally? Would waiting a couple of weeks on your refund change your plans? Or would it not matter much? I'd love for you to share your perspective in the comments. It helps to hear real stories, and it also makes other viewers feel less alone in this. And here's the part that might surprise you. Early filing isn't just about getting your refund quicker. It can also protect you against tax identity theft. Fraudsters can try to file in your name before you do. The sooner you get your return in, the less opportunity they have to beat you to it. That's another reason not to procrastinate. So then, where does that leave us? The honest answer is nobody knows for sure if the IRS will start late in 2026. It's possible, even likely, but the IRS hasn't confirmed. Refunds might be delayed, or they might not. But one thing is certain. If you take action now, organize your paperwork, adjust your withholdings, and plan ahead, you'll be in much better shape no matter what happens. At the end of the day, tax season is coming whether we're ready or not. And it's coming for all of us. So, better to prepare and avoid surprises than to scramble when the doors finally open. Do you think the IRS should be upfront about possible delays? Or is it better they wait until things are certain? Let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, I'll keep you updated as more information comes out.